Hi, I'm Neil Kelleher. In this video I wanted to talk about side splits, otherwise known as box splits or spreading your legs out to the sides. I'm going to show you a couple of the techniques, a couple of the muscle control techniques that I use that I find particularly helpful in making working towards the side splits a little bit less uncomfortable and ideally a little bit easier and perhaps even a bit more safe. And be aware that my side splits isn't always the best. I've only actually touched the floor a couple of times recently. And I've been working on side splits for probably 10 years or more, maybe even longer, on and off. And so I've experimented with a variety of muscle control techniques. And this one that I'll show you in the video seems to be the most helpful, but bear in mind it may be because I've been practicing for so long and it's a sum of all the other techniques along with this technique together that have made it work. But anyway, you can give it a try, see if it works for you or not. In a recent video I talked about doing bound angle pose and focusing on opening the hip crease. And ideally what you get, if you focus on the inguinal ligament, which is the line that connects your pubic bone to your ASIC and separates your thigh from your belly, if you focus on creating an opening sensation at the inguinal ligament, your knee will go down as a result in this pose. And probably what you'll find is that you'll get butt activation on the side that you're doing it in. If you're doing both sides at the same time, you'll get both sides activating. Now, in half side split, you can get a similar sensation if, with one knee straight and the other knee bent, weight on the bent knee, if you move the straight knee hip forward, as if you're turning the hips away from the straight knee, you may get a similar sensation of the hip crease opening. And so a warm-up that I use, one of the warm-ups that I use for side splits is this exercise. And it's twofold. One is a warm-up and the other is to get used to opening the hip crease. So press the hip forward, feel the hip crease open, at the same time feel the butt activate, and then relax. What do you do if you don't get a hip crease opening sensation? Try adjusting. And so some of my students who don't get the opening sensation, what I suggest is try tilting your pelvis forward or back so with the hip press forward. If you don't get an opening sensation, try tilting forward. You probably find that is less open. If you come more upright, you may find you get more of an you may get more of an open sensation. So, and another adjustment you can do is either lift the hip or lower it. Just play around with those while you're pressing the hip forward, see if you can get the hip crease to open. And then repeat that a few times. What I'd suggest, do it slowly and smoothly. So once you get the action, do it slowly and smoothly, repeat it on the other side, and then you can try it in actual half side split. Bear in mind this is first thing, well not quite first thing in the morning, but I haven't warmed up, so I'm doing this relatively cold. But anyway, in half side split, and this is my general preparation exercise, or when working with beginners, when working on muscle control, particularly if working towards full side split, I like to use half side split as a preparation. In particular, because it's an asymmetric pose, it makes it easier to put you in the mindset of, oh, okay, I'm going to focus on the straight leg hip. You could also focus on the bent knee hip as well, but at any rate, separating your straight knee foot from your bent knee, and if you need a mat under your knee, do please put a mat under your knee or use a towel or something like that. But in this position, you can either have your hands on the floor, or if you like, you can go down onto your elbows. But in this position, what you can practice is opening the hip crease. And to do that, you may have to move your torso to the side as you push this hip forward. You may have to tilt your pelvis forward or back. And I'm not going to say tilt it forward or tilt it back. What I want you to do, what I suggest you do, is feel for yourself. Notice the sensations that occur in your body as you do both. learn to feel your body so that then you can figure out for yourself without someone telling you, oh, do this, do that. You become your own coach. It's like, oh, okay, this is where my hip feels open. And on any given day, you'll have to fine tune the adjustment so that you can feel for yourself, because your body changes from day to day. It's like, that's where it feels more open. So, So going down, what you can do, open the hip crease. So I suggested moving left or right. You could also try moving your hips forward or back, and then relax. If you like, see if you can go wider. Open the hip crease, adjust, then relax. And notice my foot. Hopefully it's in frame. You can have the outside edge of the foot lifted. You could experiment with trying to turn the outside edge of the foot onto the floor. You can have the front of the foot on the floor, or you can have it lifted. And this as well gives you a bit more flexibility. As you get better, you can choose your foot position. But for now, allow your foot position to vary so that you can find the open hip crease sensation. And also so that you can get your butt to activate. So what I'd suggest, try that a few times, repeat on both sides. You can try that a couple of times if you like. And then there's another exercise that I like to do. And actually, before talking about the other exercise, what you could try doing is, once you've done it in half side split on both sides, you can do it on both legs. And this is assuming you have the necessary arm strength. And what you can do here is one leg at a time, or alternate. So maybe right leg, open the hip crease, adjust, move forward or back if you need to. So don't be afraid to walk on your arms. If you haven't got the necessary arm strength, then you need to work on your arm strength first, perhaps as a warm-up to doing side splits. So do the right side and then try the left side. Open the hip crease, adjust, feel it. Try to make it feel open. Also feel your butt activating, and then relax. Try to relax slowly. Right hip crease, open it, feel the butt activate. Relax. Left hip crease, open, feel the butt activate. If you can activate your butt, then play around with adjustments further. See if there's a position where you can activate. And if you don't get activation, then you're going to have to play around with other exercises, perhaps trying the same thing while standing or doing other poses so that you do get activation. And that isn't to say don't stop doing the side splits. Keep trying it. But as you're doing it, you'll notice where you lack sensation or you lack control, and that's something that you can work on as an aside, as a preparation. And ideally what then happens is, when you're doing side splits repeatedly, you notice like all of a sudden you get control. Say, okay, now I have control, now I can use it. And you may find that in the process you can improve your ability to do side splits, and perhaps any other pose where whatever muscle wasn't working gives you the ability to do more poses with greater ease. So now there is another thing that you can do, and I don't think I've talked about this before. Maybe I have. So another thing that you can do, and generally in my classes I'll spend quite a bit of time warming up with these actions. So opening the hip crease, I'll use various exercises for teaching that. But another exercise you can do is making the knee joint feel strong. And a very simple exercise you could do for that to warm up the knees is to sit in staff pose. Simply press the knee down. Notice the open sensation at the back of the knee. But also notice your quads, your front of the thigh activating when you press the knee down. So practice that until you can feel the knee, you can feel the back of the knee, feel the front, feel the thigh, maybe even calf muscle activation. But from there, practice it again and notice your knee feeling strong. And like I said, this is an exercise that I practice while standing in various poses to get my students used to feeling their knee, controlling it. On occasion, it results in muscle spasms. So it is something that you may need to practice. But once you've practiced it, what you can then do is open the hip crease, feel the butt activating, make the knee feel strong. And then relax. Open the hip crease. So adjust for openness. Feel your butt activating. make the knee strong, relax. So open the hip crease, feel the butt activating, make the knee strong. So notice as I make my knee strong, quads are activating. You may get some sensation back of the knee, calf muscle as well. Most important thing is that you can feel some sort of muscular activation when you make your knee strong. Likewise with opening the hip crease. You can try that on the other side, and then what you can do, you can go into side splits again, whether on your hands, if you like on your elbows, or even better as you get stronger, push-up position. This gives you a bit more control over the angle of your torso. At the same time, it strengthens the arms. So notice the foot. So when warming up or when focusing on hip and knee, what you can do is allow the forefoot to lift, or even allow the outside edge of the foot to lift. If you want to do it with foot flat on the floor, that too is fine. Or if you want to do it like this, excuse me, that too is fine. But anyway, open the hip crease, make the knee strong, slow and smooth. Relax. If you like, go deeper. Open the hip crease, knee strong, relax. Open the hip crease, so feel your butt, knee strong, relax. And then do the same thing on the other side. And another point is you could try the hip crease opening with the bent knee leg. You could try, so open the bent knee hip crease. You could also try making the bent knee feel strong as well. And that's something else I teach, or I take my students through when practicing knee activation, is activating the knee with the knee bent as well as with the knee straight. From there, you can then experiment with both legs straight. And again, don't be afraid to adjust your position. What I'd suggest, focus on one leg at a time initially, and then try adding both legs together. So right leg, open the hip crease, knee strong. If you like, lift the foot, relax. Left leg, open the hip crease, knee strong. Relax. Right leg, hip crease, butt, knee, relax. Left leg, hip crease, butt, knee, relax. And then you can try both legs, but in this case what I'd suggest is still staggering the activation. So activate the right leg first, hip crease, butt, knee, keep that. Then left leg, hip crease, butt, knee. Can try and adjust so both sides have even sensation, relax. Right leg, hip crease, butt, knee. Left leg, hip crease, butt, knee. And then relax. So what I generally like to do is practice that a few times. I'll rest. So I might spend half an hour. Working on splits, various warm-ups. I generally work with both legs straight nowadays. When working with students, I do the half split as I showed you. An important idea when you're finishing the splits is to counterpose. And how can you counterpose? Here's one simple exercise. And for this, you'll need to stand up. So one thing I haven't talked about is closing the hip crease, or maybe I have, but one way that you can close the hip crease is with the knees bent. If you push your pubic bone down and back, you can find a closing sensation in the hip crease. So if you're doing a forward bend, so you could practice that first, closing the hip crease, and then relax. In a forward bend with the knee straight, you could try to close the hip creases, actually make it an active sensation. Try to close by tilting the pelvis forward and then relax. You could do that with feet turned out or in. Adjust. Particularly if you find you get hip clicking, try to adjust your foot position or thigh rotation so that you don't get hip clicking. And then what you can do, and actually while standing, what I'd suggest, stand with your weight on one leg, make both knees strong, move the lifted leg forward, relax, both knees strong, lift the leg forward, relax, both knees strong, lift the leg forward, relax. So when you lift the leg forward, you're working towards a closed hip crease on the lifted leg side. Do the same thing on the other side, knee strong, forward, relax, knee strong, forward, relax. Both knees strong actually, forward, relax. And then in a forward bend, if you can't reach the floor, put your hands on a chair, use yoga blocks. But with weight on one leg, knees strong, foot forward. Try to close this hip crease. Relax. Both knees strong, foot forward, close the hip crease, relax. Knees strong, close the hip crease, relax. Then change sides. Knees strong, close the hip crease, relax. Knees strong, close the hip crease, relax. Knees strong, close the hip crease, relax. You can do that with both legs straight, both knees strong, close, relax. Both knees strong, close, relax. If you like, feet closer, knees strong, close, relax. Even closer, knees strong, close, and then relax. So if you're doing it with both legs straight, what I'd suggest as you get used to the exercise, bring your feet closer together. For myself, one of the more difficult position is with feet closer together. It's something that I tend not to practice. So for me, it's a very good idea. But anyway, that is one way of counterposing side splits. Once you finish, it's an active, if you like, it's an active counterpose. Instead of opening the hip crease, it allows you to close it. Anyway, that's it. Hopefully this is helpful. Bear in mind it may take some practice to help you work towards actual side splits, but if nothing else, hopefully it allows you to improve your side splits, and hopefully it will help you avoid any pain or discomfort either while doing side splits or after doing side splits. And if it hurts or if you find pain or discomfort, strong discomfort, i.e. sharp pain in the knees in particular, but also in the hips, then leave this out. Or figure out a way of doing these exercises in such a way that you don't get sharp pain in the knees or hips or any other part of your body. Anyway, if you're interested in more exercises for controlling the hip crease, both opening and closing, check out the description box. Got a link to some course that I focus on 5 different routines on helping you to feel and control the hip crease. And I've also got a Ko-fi link in my description box. If you like this and you wanted to buy me a coffee for whatever reason, you can use that. I always like my coffee, and that's where I spend most of my time writing up and thinking about these videos, and editing them. So if you wanted to buy me a coffee, I'd more than appreciate it. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Namaste.